5. Always note that rhymes. Work Trucks bringing you the show this hour. TRUX, WorkTrucksLLC.com. Those are the folks, if you've got a business or you just need a good, basic, stripped down, commercially based truck, they've got everything you could need down at Work Trucks. And these are pre-owned. There's a lot to that. That's going to save you some money. They've done a lot of the hard part about buying a pre-owned truck. You can find, pedestrian, sort of regular consumer automobiles everywhere that have already been looked at and vetted. There's a larger market for all that. Work trucks, though, these commercial vehicles are specialty items. And so they're harder to find, harder to track down. Sometimes they've been run into ground. So Work Trucks, a lot of what I think the service they provide is finding these things in the first place with the low miles, off lease, not damaged, not run into ground. Then they do the trouble of 125 point inspection that has to pass, or they're not going to put it on the lot. Bubba and his team have a tight operation, good looking trucks, ready for business, base white, and everything you can imagine. Box trucks and the big dually flatbeds and the little flatbeds and plain old straight clean pickups for just running stuff around, or service body configurations. These are ready for business and good, well priced because they're pre-owned, extended warranties, financing, all this stuff. They'll take yours on trade if you're just upgrading your business trucks. It's Work Trucks. Put an X in there if you want to look at some of the inventory online, or just go downtown or call them. TRUX. You spell it Work Trucks, TRUX, WorkTrucksLLC.com, WorkTrucksLLC.com. Man, we got a barn burner today, and of course we've talked endlessly, and we'll continue to do so if y'all want. Lots of calls about it too. A dynamic weekend, history in the making, heroism that you couldn't. AJ and I were talking about this earlier. It's a throwaway line, and I was saying it even on Friday when the pilot went missing, is that this feels like a movie script. Hollywood hadn't written anything like this in years. This is beyond their imagination. The detail, the amount of expertise that went into this, the technology that saved this guy's life, the courage to set aside the huge political risk of all of this going wrong, of the people in the White House to just move forward and spare no expense. Don't worry about blowing up planes. Get our guy. Tell that to the world. Tell the world what we mean and back it up. It's the part of what has been an unbelievably successful mission against the Iranian military. And it continues. Now, there's still some threats tonight. We've got this deadline approaching tomorrow where Trump, he does what he says on this stuff, and he's done it with the Iranians repeatedly, that if they don't go ahead and cut a deal and find some way to achieve some peace and a ceasefire, then we're gonna change our strategy and double down on it. Now, what Trump is threatening to do is to hit some of their infrastructure, which would cut off their power supplies. Their power mainly is supplied, especially to Iran, one big nuclear plant. They've got some other power generation sources. A lot of that country is very rural because it's very mountainous. Tehran sort of sits down in a valley of multiple mountains, which protects it. And that's been the case for thousands of years, the way that civilization grew into that territory. So it's rugged terrain, difficult to get to, but it's also difficult to manage if you're managing the infrastructure. So they rely on heavy bridges over huge spanses that they need for transportation. And of course, their grid infrastructure is completely out in the open and vulnerable to our aircraft. There are a lot of folks that wonder about the strategy. Would that, there's some people that believe that's just going to punish the citizenry, to cut the power off and to cut down their transportation infrastructure. Others believe it would empower the movement on the ground to get out and fight for its government, because it weakens the ability of the regime to be mobile and to power itself, or to control people or monitor the citizens that are hunkered down right now amid all the bombing and all the other threats. It's a moving target. It's dynamic. The Iranians, for their part, just went on state television tonight, and this is how insidious these people are, and asked for children. I'm not making this up. I was watching the video with subtitles, but they are asking for children and parents of children to take them to their electrical plants to become human shields so the Americans won't hit their infrastructure. That's their gameplay. I guess that's what they're down to. They've lost their ability to shoot us back. We just embarrassed them by recapturing our pilot. It's. I think a lot of this in the next 48 hours is going to break one way or the other. Either we're going to have to just go ahead and defeat them out of business, or they're going to come to the table and create a deal, which will eventually draw some of this tension down. I would be surprised if this goes another 2 weeks. Not that there'd be no operations or no activity, but the tenseness of it and the sort of feigning standoff that the Iranians are doing, I think that's over. I think the joke is up on them very, very soon. It's going to be an amazing few hours. So stay tuned. Of course, anything happens in the course between now and 6 o'clock, we'll get you updated. I think I've gone through every nuanced story and every sideline story that's come up in this operation, and I'm still stunned at how it all came together and how it worked out. And I am so proud of my country right now, what it stands for. We're bringing life-giving freedom to other parts of the world, whether people want to argue about that or not. We're doing it. We're backing up what this country's claimed to represent for all this time, and we have taken out an oppressive regime. We're this close to completely wiping them out of that region, which is good for the people in the region, period. It just is. Crocker Moving Services also bringing you the show tonight. Eric Crocker and his whole company, in addition to their message about, being a top-notch, get it done company that can get your stuff moved, whether it's a big project, but one big thing or 2 or 3 big things where they can scale their hours. They'll scale their services down to a minimum of 2 hours, but can build out your job accordingly so you're not overpaying for extra time. And y'all, they don't run a clock on you either. When they estimate how long it's going to take them, they're really, really close to that. It has to be really unusual for that to go over. So you can have some sense of the economics of it if you need their help. The other message for you is as we approach summer, there's always an uptick in moving this time of the year. People buy and sell houses and things happen. They're hiring. The company's growing and they want good people. So if you've got, and particularly it's going to take a strong young man, somebody that's willing to do real hard work. If you've got somebody that needs a job or wants a job or can do this kind of work, you got to pass a background check. They're really strict on their hiring, and that's criminal, a drug test as well. They don't want you to walk up in there with a bone in your nose and a spider face tattoo. Sounds may sound harsh, but they hire good, hardworking, clean-cut people that are willing to go into other people's homes and take good care of their stuff. Leonard reached out to me last week, and I was talking about this because I've got friends and people in business, other sponsors here on the station that have had their youngins go to work for Eric because they want to teach them how to work and what hard work's about and discipline. Eric being a former Marine is just a good leader of his troops and his folks. So if you got that college kid that's out of school this summer, needs to pick up some money, and y'all don't want to stare at him on the couch. I've lived through that. They come home from college in the summer and they want to lollygag and put them to work, man. Keep them busy. It's good. The idle hands of the devil's workshop. Did I get that right? Put them to work with Eric Crocker and let them learn those life lessons. It's CrockerMovingServices.com for all that job information or anything else you need when it comes to your moving. CrockerMovingServices.com. Well, let me throw a couple other things on there. It's been a day filled with the Iranian story and the Iranian reaction. And of course, Trump came out today and had just a wide-ranging news conference on all of these issues, really doing something of a victory lap with his command structure and his leadership team all speaking today. Just incredible stuff. But let's take a quick look at another story is this Savannah Guthrie thing. And that was so transfixing when her mom first went missing. It's been 2 months now, and she went back to work today. They sort of staged a way for her to return. And I don't even fault her on that. Some people are being very critical. You don't know what it's like unless you've been in that shoes. And at some point, the best thing you can do is go on with your life. I know she's a famous, well-paid news anchor, but I can understand how she would want to get back to normalcy where there's nothing that they can do by being on that scene. And then after all that, she goes back on the air today. I didn't see it, but I saw the headlines about it. We get this story from TMZ, who, again, I personally believe have kind of inserted themselves in the story a little bit. They've made themselves part of the storytelling. Well, this afternoon, just a little while ago, they're claiming they got another ransom letter, I guess you would call it. And I guess I've got to believe if somebody sent them another ransom letter, it's because Savannah Guthrie returned to the television. So the case has just been botched all over the place, mainly by the locals. It seems to be without any significant leads, at least leads we know about. She's back on the air, and now somehow this ransom thing is back. And I don't know any details about what the letter said, and TMZ may not be releasing that this afternoon. The Guthrie family believes that the initial letter was legit. The first one TMZ reported, and I remember we were on the air live when that happened. It was so bizarre. Somebody wanted Bitcoin in exchange for this woman being returned within 12 hours. Some very specific stuff in there, and apparently there was enough proof of life, or at least detail about the crime scene, that made authorities believe that it could be legitimate. The Guthrie family still believes it was legitimate, but the other letters were fake. They were meant to they were pranks, or just being evil and mean or intrusive, or somebody trying to co-opt some money. So I don't know what they think of this, if this is a continuation of the fake harassment, or if it's the original person or persons that might have taken this woman coming forward. My guess is she's probably not alive. I can't imagine they've kept her alive this long without her being found. And I really couldn't guess as to what actually happened to her. But that story somehow has thrust itself back into the news with everything else going on with the Artemis mission and live shots of the moon and all that incredible stuff. And this Iran story, just nonstop Iran story. Here we go with the Savannah Guthrie thing. Hanging out there in the news. Y'all, Lanius Furniture Company also bringing you the show tonight, Launius. LaniusFurnitureCompany.com. Y'all, it's just a remarkable place to do some furniture shopping. We're going to need a couple more chairs soon. We're doing some additional space, and going to want to make, I keep joking about the rugs, but I'm not kidding, man. Potty training a puppy, Lord. But it may be time. It's those rugs have got some years on them. They've got all this at Lonnie. It's just beautiful stuff. Great selection. Everything you need for the home, inside and outside. Odds and ends, lamps and accessories, every room in the home. And of course, like I said, with the outside, that Green Country line of outdoor furniture, beautiful stuff, well-built stuff. Everything in that store is well-built and quality. They just won't sell anything else. It's how they built their reputation all these years. Lanius Furniture Company, off exit 280. If y'all want to go see them, Lanius Furniture. Go see Reggie, go see John, go see that whole crew. Some of the nicest people in the business, too. Don't you want to work with good people? LaniusFurnitureCompany.com. LaniusFurnitureCompany.com. Back here in a minute. It's 522. That's a classic, AJ. I hadn't heard that one in a while. Good stuff, my man. Southern Skies Dermatology, another classic place to go get yourself checked, especially if you're a little bit classic yourself. It's true, we do age into it, and I know I'm in the zone, so I go and get checked at least once a year. But there are other markers. I guess if you're more fair skinned, if you did a lot of burning back in the day, even 20, 25 years ago, if you ever really viciously burn yourself or you have a family history, I got all those markers. I mean, all of it. Family history, used to burn like an idiot back in the 80s and the 70s and 80s. And the damage over time starts to replicate itself. Your skin cells replicate themselves and replace themselves. And it just gets worse until it can become a form of skin cancer. And whether it's benign, like a basal cell, or it's very, very serious, like melanoma, you need to have it removed and you need to get on it early. The earlier, the better. And Southern Skies is 100% dedicated to just doing this kind of work, helping people with their skin cancer or lack of. It's even good when you go and you get nothing. I mean, you're good. You worried about something and then it's fine. It's southernskiesdermatology.com, southernskiesdermatology.com. Dr. Mario is an expert in the Mohs procedure, which is the way you want to have this kind of stuff done. You want it done by Mohs. Mohs is cutting edge technology and absolutely the best way to handle it. It's a micrographic procedure where they're checking it as they go. And that does a lot of things. They can stop when they got it all and know that they got it all and not just remove a bunch of tissue, which is how they used to do it back in the day. SouthernSkiesDermatology.com. Get your appointment. New location coming in the 280 corridor sometime this year. When they're ready, I'll tell you. And y'all can point yourself in that direction too. Love on yourself. Take care of yourself. Southern Skies Dermatology. All right, let me dig into some other things. I'm still fascinated with the Artemis mission. The images coming out from the moon, I think, are the clearest and most amazing we've ever seen, being that close in observation. And, of course, seeing that old backside, the dark side of the moon, it's just beautiful to see. Even the shape of it, when they do this one particular image, you know, we always see it from the Earth as perfectly round, but it's kind of wobbly, rock-shaped when you really look at it in some of the craters. But we've got that live imagery that's been going around all day long, and that's just been fascinating. I mentioned this earlier, and we didn't go too far into it because, again, Iran and all that's going on with it. But we have a generic ballot poll that was out today, and it's actually CNN's firm that is doing this poll in the upcoming midterms. Now, I would tell you we're a long way from November, and if Trump closes this war out properly and the markets return to normalcy and even fuel prices return to normalcy, he's got a lot of wind at his back right now, a lot of successes. Success breeds success. And so his administration has been aggressive. They're taking political risk that could blow the midterms altogether. He's doing his part. If anything, the Republicans are in the Senate they're the ones killing the brand right now. But so how's the brand doing? Well, I just have to give you some background so this registers. There's something called a generic ballot test. I think there might be another more, I guess, approachable name for it in the real world. The geeks that work in politics and do the stuff I used to do just call it a generic ballot test. And the old GBT. And in that, you're just testing the brand. Who is favorable, who's unfavorable, who's being looked upon in a good light nowadays. The Republicans never beat the Democrats in that. I can only think of one time when the Republicans beat the Democrats, and that was in 94, I think it was, when Bill Clinton had really royally screwed up his first 2 years of his first administration. Overreach on guns, overreach on health care. Hillary was put too far out front. They had to hide her for a while. She was killing Bill Clinton. This is before all the big scandals broke into the open. But the Republicans enjoyed a resurgence in those days, and it led to Newt and the team taking over the House of Representatives eventually. So Republicans got ahead on the generic ballot test. And again, all that means is, who do you trust more, Democrats or Republicans? And then they'll go through different issues, the economy, foreign policy, blah, 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 crime, all those things, education. Well, in the latest generic ballot test, Republicans had tied the Democrats, which was earth-shattering to Democrats if you understand what this poll means. Democrats have a naturally built in brand advantage the way this poll is administered, and they tend to come out ahead. I used to have a rule of thumb that if the Republicans could get within 3 of the Democrats, they had an edge. I also have this theory that pollsters miss some of the more conservative voters because more conservative people can be a little curmudgeon-y and they don't want to take polls. They're frustrated with everything and they don't want to answer the phone. They're not going to do your little text poll that you send them, and they're just not going to do it. So I think there's a section of the public that pollsters can't account for and it's hard to adjust for, and they always miss them. That being said, today's generic ballot test poll, as presented on CNN, had the Republicans up 5. It won't stay there. Polls are a snapshot, but that is a trend that works for the Republicans. I believe it's the shutdown. I think folks understood who were being the obstructionists and were really frustrated with that. And the Republicans looked more sincere in trying to pass something to get these people back to work. Remember, that's not solved. Trump found some funding to get the TSA back on the job, or the screeners at the TSA, and they went and took their little break, and that's on the Republicans too. And then they'll be back in office in a week or so, and here we go again with all those optics and all that drama. It's backfiring, and I think some of the leftists are getting a sense of that. Then you add these scandals, these funding scandals that are 100% on the Democrat leadership and the governor's offices around the country. They are getting worse by the day. Some of that's starting to mount up, despite Trump's annex and the weakness of the Republicans in the Senate. Ballot test wise, that's a number that should have the consultant class in the Republican Party jumping for joy. They never see this heading into a midterm. Still a long way to go. Everything changes on the ground, especially if the Iran situation goes worse than wobbly. But just know all that. Y'all, Douglas Cooling and Heating, ready to come out to your house and get it right, get it tight. You got to take care of your home. It's your home. And we're heading into some serious humidity. Y'all know it's Alabama in the summer. If you need a replacement, do it now while we've got better weather. If you don't, just get them over there to do a cleanup and a tune-up. It'll run better and save you money on your bills. Call Douglas.com. They've been taking care of me for going on 17 years at calldouglas.com. License number 2017181. Again, one more time, they also have a plumbing division. If you run into plumbing trouble, make them your home services company and at least get that spring tune-up done. Calldouglas.com. We'll be back in a minute with more, and we'll jump back on the phones too. Leland Live, Talk 99.5. Well, it's 5:34, and y'all know what that time is. If you've been listening to this show for any length of time, it's time for us to go on over to Stockton Mortgage and check in with Thomas, see what he's got shaking. Thomas, what's up tonight, my man?
Hey man, we had a wonderful Easter with the family. I hope you did as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Man, well, it was a beautiful weekend, and people were out and about. We did several pre-approvals. The spring buying season is in full swing, and man, we are so busy. People are buying houses, and want to remind everybody that if you are renting, if you are in the market, if you've ever thought about getting in the market to purchase a home, but you haven't saved enough money, or maybe you're going to continue to wait. Every month that you're waiting, you're paying somebody else's mortgage for them. And you and I've talked about that many times, Cleveland.
Oh,
When
yeah?
you're paying somebody else's mortgage when you're paying rent. And your rent is 100% interest. So it doesn't matter what the rates are. Rates are really good right now, by the way. But when you're paying rent to someone else, you're paying that mortgage for somebody else. And that's increasing that other person's wealth. Instead of you buying something for yourself and increasing your personal wealth by investing in real estate and building your own personal wealth, you're doing that for somebody else. So give us a call. Let's sit down and get a plan to home ownership so you can start building your own personal wealth, and so you can start making memories in your own home. So give us a call today. Let us see what kind of plan we can put together for you. If you don't have enough money for down payment, we have a program for that. If you don't have maybe your income, you don't show enough income on your taxes, we have down payment assistance programs, and we also have bank statement programs available to where we can use your bank statements for income verification. So give us a call tonight, 205-859-8859, or savewithstockton.com.
Savewithstockton.com. Thomas, that's how you do it, my man. We'll check in with you tomorrow. All right,
Thank
good
you.
encouraging word there from Thomas. Don't be scared. Just call Stockton, and they'll hold your hand, walk you through it. It can be intimidating. I get that. It can be intimidating. Well, another headline for today, and this was just a few seconds ago. We were in the bottom of the hour break. AJ, you might want to chime in on this too, because we're both excited about the Artemis mission, but they just set the record, and human beings are now further from Earth than ever before. They just made that. I don't know that it's the peak of the distance they'll travel when they go all the way around, but it's the they broke across the last barrier. Does that make any sense?
So they're at the point where no man has gone before.
Yeah, the old Star Trek thing. Nanu, nanu. No, wait a minute. That's Mork and Mindy. I'm sorry. I had to get my geek stuff right. No, pretty impressive with all the history we're seeing made today. This is mankind. I mean, it's, they said it in the Apollo mission. This is America, and these are human beings, and this is a great program. But mankind, human beings, have never done this, and we just sometimes you feel like we're topped out and we've achieved most everything. We're achieving something that is going to lead to even further space travel, because they got to do this in order to get the moon base, in order to do deeper space travel. And we just crossed one of those thresholds. I think it's kind of neat. I think, did you read as well that there's like 40 minutes when they're on the backside of the moon that we're going to lose complete contact with them?
Yeah, and that's going to be the scary part.
The signal.
Yeah, because you can't contact, because I don't think there's or maybe there is a satellite. I don't think there's a satellite that's positioned on the dark side of the moon.
No, the moon's in between us and them. There's no way for them to shoot a signal around the moon like that. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. But I mean, it's like crazy, but at least they won't get spam calls. Because I bet you they're probably getting spam calls from making sure they're
still getting warranty calls and loan offers.
Their rocket's warranty has expired, and they was wondering, or they're on Medicare.
Here's the thing, that they'll get 40 minutes apiece from all that, and the minute they hit back into communication, they'll start getting flooded with all those messages that they missed for 40 whole minutes. I'm gonna be honest with you, I could use 40 whole minutes on the dark side of the moon some days.
Oh man,
just give me 40 minutes, man. I'll take a little nap or Get my thoughts.
You ain't getting hit with spam calls. You can't scroll on your phone. Like, can you scroll on the on social media? Can't do none of that.
It's just a habit. People just pick it up when they're bored. I mean, phone doesn't work. What are we gonna do? Hey, you want to just talk about so how's it going?
Right. Because I mean, like, what are you gonna do in space besides just float? Like, you're just at a rocket with a whole bunch of other people just floating, and you're like, well, just it's 40 minutes of us just going on the dark side of the moon. There's nothing to see here because it's dark.
See, that's where I need you to kick in with the bumper music. We should be playing "Dark Side of the Moon."
Mm-hmm.
Pink Floyd. We'll all float on with the Modest Mouse. I got a bluegrass cover of that song that's pretty dang good. You remember that song? We'll all float on, all right, already. That's a little too much. Let me talk about Tapco. Man, I'm so glad to have Michael on the show because this is such a high-end shop. Y'all been lighting them up too with requests because everybody's got car. You got car trouble. It's just true. I don't care how new it is. Things are going to go squirrely. And one of the things, Michael, we were chatting and he was talking about the thing that really they're so good at too is just your regular maintenance. And you get these engine lights that come on, or you ever get that, and that engine light can be a ghost. In the old days, we'd say, oh, it's just your gas cap, but it could be something very, very serious. Getting your brake work done and inspected, suspension issues, something's vibrating, the car's pulling to one side, all these things. Man, a lot of folks believe that you get a car under warranty and you got to take it straight to the dealer every time. And y'all, they kind of got a little market. I'm going to be nice to our dealers. Michael wouldn't call it this, but some people call them stealerships when it comes to the service side. All I know is I've got a Ford diesel truck and the thing is run like a top, knock on wood. But there has always been, since the day I got this truck, and I had one before that a few years ago, when it comes to just diesel engines, there was just this 2 or 3 month waiting period just to get in line to get to the mechanics, because sometimes they just stack up. And then warranty service, you're going to be at the back of the line and at the mercy of whatever they charge you. And look, if you just want a shop that's going to get to the bottom of these things, and you keep your car, if you love on that car and respond to the engine lights, keep all that maintenance going and do that stuff with a shop like Michael's down at Tapco, you're ahead of the system. They're going to treat you with respect, give you fair pricing. And you can just, once you meet them, you'll know what I mean. You'll just trust them to do it right. And you're not in line with everybody else with that whole dealership racket. And I'm going to tell you, the state of Alabama, they have a lot of cars, especially Aaliyah. They're out there running those cars up and down the roads, taking care of, protecting all of us and keeping us safe. And those cars need maintenance. And so that state agency trusts Michael's shop to handle what they bring in. And if there's ever, anybody that puts their foot in it and pushes these cars to the test, it's going to be the state troopers and our law enforcement. And Michael's shop takes care of them. If y'all are running a shop and you want to send your customers somewhere because you want to deal with something else, y'all send them to Michael. That's what mechanics all over town. He's like the mechanic's mechanic. And I think mechanic is even a word that's not even well enough descriptive, because nowadays it's service. It's service technician. These are as much computers as they are, mechanical devices. So trust Tapco with anything of your car that you want done. Even if you want to do some customization or something to improve your car's performance, they can handle that down there. This is high-end stuff. They're down on 6th Avenue. By the way, Michael told me, he said, with the business growing like it is, if you're a technician that prides themselves in working this hard and knowing how to solve these problems too, go and interview with them. They're hiring right now, and it's a good deal. I'd want to work at a high-end shop like this. It's a really cool place. They're called Tapco, down on 6th. You can get them at tapcobeham.com if you want to just reach out to them and get an appointment and let them go through your ride and stay on top of things. Then you're not guessing at it. And that's a sinking feeling when every time a light comes on. It's tapcobeham.com. Downtown Birmingham, tapcobeham.com. Man, let me make sure I feel like I'm getting hoarse, AJ. I'm still blaming the pollen. I've been outside probably all day today, and I thought it was gone. I actually did the water trick, and I just squirted everything down and rinsed everything off, and it'll be back. I don't know when it's supposed to end. Did we get a date on that? You know what? Instead of the Punxsutawney Phil and the groundhog predicting winter, we try to fake that with our own version of the groundhog. We should have a groundhog that predicts when the pollen season's going to be over.
Oh yes,
you know what I'm saying? That's more important.
If it makes a pollen angel,
yeah,
we got 6 more weeks of pollen.
Exactly. How many more weeks of pollen and dust do we have, Mr. Groundhog?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a groundhog. Just any kind of lowland creature will do. A possum.
Ooh,
I think we already used that.
Or we could do like an old man sneezing.
Sure.
If he sneezes 2 times.
What color is his snot this hour?
Yeah. And does he complain about how his head hurts? And
Are you talking about me right now? I'm feeling offended.
No, I'm not talking.
Somewhere Jessica's listening to the show, nodding her head, going, "Mm-hmm, you ought to hear him at home." Like you knew what you was getting when you married this old guy. You just got a deal, girl. I think it's the pollen.
Oh man, the pollen done got me.
You remember that reporter that was using his reporter voice, and then the bee flies in his nose?
Oh yes, he's still doing news. Why about got me in this country old?
Yeah, one of the things he says in the middle of his rant, this gnat goes in his throat. He's like, "And authorities here in Stewart County, I think it was in Southwest Georgia, this gnat goes in his throat." I'm just imitating him right now. He goes, "Yeah, what was that?" And then he goes back to his real voice, and it's the funniest thing. And it's exactly how it goes when you're out in the field doing that stuff. And one of the things he says, he goes, "Get me out of this country town." He goes, "Pollen, gnats, pollen." I was like, "I feel you, man. I know what you're saying. I feel like you can't breathe, man." Lord help us.
But you have that like one little moment of like your voice just being just right. You know, it's deep and it's just like it just
you're
sounds
all baritone.
Yeah,
and
then
you get a gnat and you're like, ah. Oh, hijinks, man. Michelson Laser Vision. I got a little behind on a lot of our sponsors, so let me talk about Dr. Mark and Dr. Jennifer. What a great crew. You got to love most of our sponsors. I started counting them the other day. Are 2 and 3 generation local businesses. I sort of have the luxury here on the station to just pick and choose who gets to advertise. And I'm not being cocky. It's just where we are. We have a premium audience, a big giant audience, and we can demand more of our sponsors and not just put anybody on the show. And it's been that way forever. And I already knew Dr. Michelson's reputation, but I'm telling you, it's just wonderful to know that I'm sending our audience to just the best. And again, another locally owned business, couple of generations deep, taking care of folks at home. I love everything about that. I find that you always get better service that way when your neighbors are taking care of you. Everything, the pricing, the servicing, everything's so corporatized in this country right now. It's all feel like you're part of some program. Just get the personal service of that wonderful staff. Dr. Mark, who's a legend here in the community. Dr. Jennifer, who's stepping in the footsteps of a legend with her excellent training, and they'll help you see better. At least check it out. If you're in glasses or contacts and you're like me and you're dubious, you're a doubting Thomas, at least go do that visit and see if you're eligible. You may not be, or you may get the education program and go, "Nah, it's still not for me," but you've done your due diligence, and that's always smart. You may have a light bulb moment and decide this would be the thing that would free you of the encumbrance of glasses and contacts. It's Michelson Laser Vision. Downtown, UAB Highlands, easy facility to get in and out of. MichelsonLaserVision.com. Y'all go see them. Tell them I said, hey, back in a minute. All right. Sorry about that, AJ. I was trying to open my gate. Jessica's got where she likes to DoorDash all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently there's a food delivery going on, and the gate was locked. So I'm trying to do that from here while I'm doing my radio show. Sometimes Mama gets busy. Do you ever DoorDash?
Yes, not really, because I've had a couple of bad experiences with that. One, I had ordered some food, and on the app you can actually track the driver, and the driver went to the place, and then instead of like getting on the highway to come to my house, they ended up going the opposite direction and then taking that food to one of the, looks like the dorms at UAP.
Oh, they just gave it to somebody else.
No, they took it. They
okay. All right.
you know,
they liked your order.
Right. I hope it was good. I mean, I really do. I hope it was delicious, you know, but
we'll get lazy and do it, but we live out on the moon, and they always miss the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
We wind up giving them directions. We'll stand there and watch them go past the house. And like, I see it on the camera like, there goes your guy. And then we'll redirect them like you're laying in a plane. Then they get creeped out about the woods. One of them got out of the car one day and says, man, why anybody want to live up here in the woods like this?
Yeah.
I said, so people be scared to come to my house.
I'll be thinking about it. I'll be like, look, if I had a dash to your house, but yeah. This is when you knock on the door and be like, yes, come on in. And then next you know it, like you're in the hole, putting lotion on the skin.
It puts the lotion on its skin and it puts it back in the basket. Yikes.
Oh, man.
How am I going to transition from that conversation to Allen and Company? I don't know, but I got to do it right now. Allen and Company. I wouldn't DoorDash fine jewelry. I'd go and look in person at Allen and Company. There you go. Y'all, this is the Thompson family, and they're just so nice. They're so sweet. Another local business here on the show. 2 generations of taking care of folks, and the whole thing got started with Alan becoming a master jeweler, and just it's good to know something. When you're talking to the person that's going to design your piece, it's going to be exactly like you want. No questions. And, I mean, there's another way to do it. You can go to the mall, to one of the chain stores, pick out a generic setting that 1,000 other people have and pop a diamond in it. Or you can really get it done to a T with them. Their diamond prices are the same as the big corporate chain diamond prices. It's just true of the industry. But you get the customization. That's even more special if you're designing some special piece for a family member or an occasion or something that's unique. They can handle that for you. Broken chains, stone replacement. They did a stone replacement. It was an old antique piece Jessica had that I think her grandmother gave her, if I'm not mistaken, and it was missing a couple of little pearl type stones. I don't even know what they were, but Alan was able to match them. He tracked them down, size and color, matched them, put it back in there, and repaired the piece. I was impressed by that, even though I've been talking about him for years. Things like that, when it comes to the maintenance of your stuff, you don't want to just trust it to anybody to go ship it all over the world. You want to take it where you leave it, let them fix it, and get it right back. And that's what they specialize in. So go get to know them. Treat yourself every now and then and buy yourself something there and get to know the team, and they'll let you browse to your heart's content. It's Allen and Company in Vestavia for all the gift giving. Graduation on the way. Maybe you want to commemorate that graduation year. That's forever, man. Everybody will always ask you, what year did you graduate? And you got some necklace or something that commemorates that. Allen and Company in Vestavia, right there on Highway 31. I hate to go back to the Nancy Guthrie case, but there's some more details that just came out. Let me just read this to you, Cole. This is TMZ's story. They said they got another ransom note. Let me just read this here and see what the deal is. It says there are a couple of new notes in the Nancy Guthrie cold case, both from the same person, offering information on the kidnapper, but for the first time, they're revealing an exact location and claiming they saw her in Mexico. Now, I don't know if there's any legitimacy to this, but from the beginning, folks have wondered if this had any connection to Mexico, which is not that far away. TMZ received the first note Monday morning, this morning, same day as Guthrie goes back on the air. They say it's from the person who's been offering to rat out the kidnappers for 2 months now. And they say their demand is for 1 Bitcoin to be delivered to them, quote, on a silver platter. That's a quote from the note. Shortly after we talked about the first note on TMZ Live, the person sent a second letter saying, I saw her alive with them in the state of Sonora, Mexico. Sonora is a large Mexican state bordering Arizona and parts of New Mexico. Nancy was abducted from her home in Tucson. I think this is all bull squeeze. AJ, you buying it? There's no way this person really knows anything about this woman.
No.
And why would you give that up in a ransom note? I think they're just jerking TMZ's chain.
Let's just get attention.
Yeah, she popped back on TV today, so it's an opportune moment to try to get back in the news and prank them. It's probably some 15-year-old boy in the Philippines who's also got a call center job calling you about your warranty while you're on the dark side of the moon.
You know we got to remake that song.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. All American Metals. Yeah, man. They will build your building for you. Well, not build it for you, but produce it for you. Design it for you. Make all the components. Get it on their trucks like a big box of Legos. Whether you're building a building like mine, just a big old pole barn so you can dry your stuff in, or if you're building a big commercial project because you're in business and you're ready to grow in the golden economy. This is another 2 generations. They go back to the 60s producing steel, and they know their stuff. And because you're dealing with a turnkey operation, they're total in control of that process. It's going to get to your site right. Y'all get to know them. If you got building projects this year, you can't beat the value of steel. It's All American Metals, aa-metal.com, aa-metal.com. Y'all go see them online. AJ, see you tomorrow, my friend.
All right, man. Have a good one. Stay out that pollen.
I'll stay out the pollen. I'm going to talk like this the rest of the day, though.
Goodbye, AJ.